So for this case, I want to argue that there is bias, and because of that, they didn't really look at any other suspect or any other lead that they might have had. Or I guess I can argue that they they were too quick to jump the gun from that lead that they had. That I guess I can argue too that they really wasn't much physical, or I mean, there wasn't really no physical evidence at all to really link Saheed to the murder of Haley. And another thing that I can say is that with this whole case, a lot of it is basically based off of the interview that the investigator had with Jay, and how him saying that he heard Saheed say that he wanted to kill Haley, and I guess he said some other things that got him convicted based off of what he heard him say. And I think that's really interesting because of how they also attacked his character. They said he was um, a guy with bad characteristic traits and a bad personality. They said that he drank a lot, but also how his parents didn't really know his true character, because he was known as a devoted guy, religious, but also a good person. At school, he was well known. He had a good job, and I really do think that there was a form of bias investigating this, because of how, like I said, there was no other leads that were approached, and once they got like the testimony from Jay, they stuck with that, so they didn't really have the chance to build any other lead or look for any other form of suspect. So another thing that they mentioned was how they searched Haley's car and found something of his there. I don't know if I remember or if it's true. I think they said they found his fingerprints in there, but I guess the podcast person argued that, because he was an ex-boyfriend, that was going to be obvious because he would be with her. I don't know if that's true. Maybe I misheard it, but I think that there were forms of biases in this case. And another thing with this whole investigation that sucked was how Aisha, she said that she saw Saheed at the library, but later discredited her own statement, basically saying that the family pressured her into saying something to help him out, which kind of sucks that she later took her own words back. And um basically, um like I said, yeah, I think there was some sort of bias, but it's too early on to really say, but I do think there was bias. And I do think that, like I said, this is an interesting case, and there's a lot of information. And like I said, or what was I gonna say? Yeah, the time frame also that they mentioned. There is some gaps in between when she was killed, but also if it's really true that he was at the library, Aisha's statement really could help him out with that. But um, this is an interesting case, and there's a lot of information, and um, I wonder if Jay could be a suspect. And he was really weird because he might have said something that at one point was kind of weird when they mentioned Saheed digging a hole. I don't know if he said that he might have helped, but might have been something that I misheard. But overall, like, I want to wrap this up. I think there was some sort of bias